Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Exactpro YouTube channel for the final session of our Python4ML Bootcamp. Today we'll talk about how to set up a team workflow on Google Colab. The topic of the session was inspired by our team's participation in SWIFT Hackathon 2021. At that point, we had no experience of working on Google Colab as a team. That's why at first we had to copy chunks of code from one notebook to another. But with time, we came to a template that helped us coordinate the work in the most effective way. So this is what we want to share with you today. But first, let's compare the work of one person to the work of a team. The first aspect that differentiates them is time. It takes one person longer to complete a project. For instance, let's imagine that our project has 10 tasks, each of which requires an hour to complete. If just one person is working on the tasks, then the project will be complete in 10 hours. But if we have a team of 10 people, then the work will be done in just 1 hour. Of course, that's an idealistic assessment. On a real-life project, we'd have to factor in communication issues that could emerge in the process. In addition, if several people are working on the task, code merge conflicts are unavoidable. Nevertheless, teamwork clearly gives us a time advantage. So, how do we start working as a team? For that, let's first implement a template. First, we'll need to create a Google Colab. Secondly, we'll need to create certain sections. We've come to 4 sections that are universal to data science projects. Each of the sections has to have a unique title so that none of the participants would get confused as to where their target section is. For this reason, before each section we create a text cell with the title of the section. The title cell is followed by code cells in which the corresponding code will be placed later. The 4 universal sections we've come up with are global variables, package import, getting and processing the dataset, and data analysis. Of course, depending on the needs of the project, you may need to add more sections. The very last section will be the entry point to the algorithm. Here we will use the functions from the previous sections, call them, get data from them, and analyze that data. This is also where the algorithm will end. This way, we've given our notebook a clear section structure. This means we can distribute these sections among the team members. But how do we set up the workflow? The first thing we need to do on any project is decide which parts the project will consist of. Partially, this work has already been done in the previous step, but depending on project needs, you can add sections or break the existing sections down into several subsections, and then get to distributing them among your people. But before we do that, we have to identify what we expect from each of those parts, which data we would like to collect, and which data one section needs to pass to another. So it's not until that we can distribute the responsibilities between team members. After that, each team member whose work depends on another team member's work has to discuss with that team member what he or she expects to receive to get on with their work. When the team members are in agreement, then we can move on to working on the separate sections of the project. When you work in a team and you're writing code, naturally, you need to see whether you're getting the right data or whether you yourself are processing the data correctly. Needless to say, your code cells will contain output. But not to interfere with the other team members' work, you'll have to remember to clear your output. This is a good practice to follow. This is all we wanted to share today. As usual, we have some homework for you to complete. Relying on our template, feel free to try and create your own project structure. You can study the dataset via the link in the description of the video and illustrate the dependencies between the different columns with the help of charts. Thank you for staying with us throughout the bootcamp. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again on the Exactpro YouTube channel for more of our educational content.